I was recently solving a tick puzzle and couldn't get to the solution. And one question I had was whether I could rotate a piece of length 3 through a 2x2 opening. So if I looked at the math, if you have an opening that's 2 units by 2 units, the length here will be square of this summed together in the square root. So you get square root of 8, which is less than 3. It's about 2.8. So it would seem, and I was having a little friction rub through there, that this was not a legal move. I couldn't rotate that through. And I'll show you this in an actual puzzle here. So what we have is a rotating cube. And you'll notice that the span of this, if I can illustrate, from here to here is 3 on this edge. And there's a bar at the top here and a bar at the bottom. And if you look at the separation of those bars, it is 2 units down, 2 units over. So I had built this puzzle myself and from some specifications online that I purchased. And I would get a rub when I would rotate this piece through. And so I figured that was an illegal move. But it's actually a legal part of the solution. And the reason is because of the beveling that's on these edges. So if you take a perfect cube here, like this, it has a certain distance if you stack them together across here. But if you bevel that cube, you bevel each edge, you'll find that you're cutting away a little area here. Well, in some puzzles, all these edges here are beveled back, which means that this opening, if you have a bevel here, it gets larger than 2.8, it gets closer to 3, and the cube that was 3, now if it's beveled on each of these edges, well, its length that you're trying to pass through is actually smaller than 3. So it's really important when you're solving a cube with parts that might need to rotate, if you're making this yourself, that you know what the bevel has to be on all the parts, because the bevel may be necessary to actually solve the puzzle. I created this from some SCAD specifications, and the bevel was actually specified at about 1.2. But I decided to make this larger, so I changed the individual cube size about 20%. But I did not increase the bevels 20%, and so that made me unable to solve the cube. So bevels can play an important part in puzzles that rotate, and it's something that you might need to be aware of.